Everyone. My name is Carol Cross. My pronouns are she and her, and I am one of the practitioners here at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to the very start of our Sunday celebration today. So we always begin with meditation that kind of sets the tone for the day. So this whole month we've been doing the theme of holy boldness, which has been really interesting because I don't know that we talk about boldness a lot. So I always, since this is the last Sunday, I was like waiting for Spirit to give me some inspiration about a meditation about boldness. But like I say, I don't run into that as much. It wasn't like when I was a little girl and in the 60s and my favorite TV show urged me to boldly go where no man had gone before. Now I hear bold associated more with wines than with actions or personality. But I know Spirit provides, so I just was like, okay, Spirit, send me something. So last night I was outside at 8 o'clock when the temperature was 92 degrees because I was participating in one of my favorite summer traditions, which are the Summerfest concerts that are held by the North Carolina Symphony at Kokobu Theater. And it's just such a beautiful place, and it's such a great orchestra, and it's just always a wonderful experience. So I was surrounded with friends and good food, and, who cares about the weather when you got what really matters around you? And the concert last night was the music of the Rolling Stones, which I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. It's fantastic hearing these beautiful songs with a full orchestral accompaniment. So, and the thing about great art is that, you can hear a song 1,000 times, and then you hear it the 1,001st time, and it hits you totally different. And so that happened to me last night. I was listening to just gorgeous music, and I said, wait a minute. This song is about boldness. So there we have it. So I invite you to close your eyes and get into our meditative state, letting go of everything before and everything that come after, so that we can just be here now. And so our reading today is a lyric from a song from the Rolling Stones. And think of it in this context of holy boldness. So, they wrote, she would never say where she came from. Yesterday don't matter if it's gone. While the sun is bright or in the darkest night, no one knows. She comes and goes. Don't question why she needs to be so free. She'll tell you it's the only way to be. She just can't be chained to a life where nothing's gained and nothing's lost at such a cost. There's no time to lose, I heard her say. Catch your dreams before they slip away. Dying all the time. Lose your dreams and you will lose your mind. Ain't life unkind? And of course, those are all punctuated by the chorus. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still, I'm going to miss you. So go ahead and contemplate those words in the context of holy boldness. those churches are too happy. And he just thought that we didn't focus enough on the shadow, which I don't necessarily agree with because, but at the spiritual level, we know it's all good because it's all God. But it's true that in our human lives, it's more complicated. The whole balance between spirit and keeping this manifest body alive is more challenging. And I don't know what came up for you in your meditation, but certainly one of the lessons I get from that song is that there is a price for being bold, but there's also a price for not being bold. And we all get to choose which one of those two prices we're willing to pay. So we have a few minutes before our main event begins at 10:15. So go take care of yourselves, but I know you want to be back by 10:15 to get our final words of wisdom on this topic of holy boldness. So thank you for being here with us in the meditation this morning, and we'll see you at our celebration service at 10:15. Thanks. Bye.
morning, everyone. Whoa. I'm excited, but I don't know that I'm that excited. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. It is so nice to see so many, and I won't say old friends because I'd like you to come back. So I'll say so many familiar faces here today. Reverend Denise Schubert is in the house, so we're anticipating a wonderful message. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being this community's spiritual director. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is a community that honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We're a spiritual community that can support you as you strive for your own personal relationship with God, a spiritual community where you are respected and honored and accepted for who you are, a space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support as you continue to grow into your highest and best self. No matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are always welcome here. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global community of approximately 450 spiritual communities, teaching chapters, and special focus ministries in 30 different countries throughout the world. Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive philosophy, faith, and way of life that is dedicated to transforming lives by providing powerful spiritual messages and principles and practices for your individual use, and also exploring new possibilities to assist the world to become a world that works for all. So I'm very grateful that you are here today, whether you are here in the sanctuary at 4 Points or you have invited us into your homes through the power of live streaming. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, I do have one special announcement this morning, and this is an announcement and an invitation to purchase tickets as quickly as possible for a special house concert. Bob Sima and Shannon Plummer will be here in concert on January 26th. Let me say that again. I thought all those F's were getting a little mixed up for me. So Friday, July 26th. The concert is being hosted by Miles and Letha Costin and will be held at their home on Pleasant Union Church Road in Raleigh. Doors will open up at 7 o'clock with the concert starting at 7:30 and probably running till around 9 o'clock. Tickets are required and are $30 for a single ticket and $50 for a pair. Snacks and non-alcoholic beverages will be available, and you're invited to bring your own adult beverage should you wish to do that. The concert is called Consciousness in Concert. Bob's music bridges daily life and soul consciousness through instantly accessible songs that take up residence in your soul. When Bob opens his mouth to sing, what emerges is far beyond the human sounds of warmth and soulful voice. He speaks the language of the universe, the language of the soul, the language of the heart. Shannon's harmonies are so perfectly tuned to Bob's voice that it is as if there was just one voice coming from the stage. They bring a catalog of original music and two powerful voices that can bring any community or gathering closer together in one sitting. You really do not want to miss this, and I have a little snippet for you to view so you get a feeling for it.
Just the weather.
contact was sent out last Saturday morning with a QR code that you can use to access the tickets. The code is also out front on one of our tables out in the hallway, so you can just, take a picture of that, and it will take you to a place where you can purchase tickets. I strongly encourage everyone to attend this concert. You'll be very glad that you did. There's a limit to the tickets, so I'm encouraging everyone to get your tickets early. I would like to thank Carol Cross for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. Thank you very much, Carol. And now I invite everyone to stand and please sing our opening congregational song, You and Me, by Eddie Watkins, Jr.
Shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just wanna shout. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just wanna shout. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is.
Well, that will definitely wake us up, right? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. When I say that, and I'm not here to get into a long conversation, but I have to say this. So glad to be here once again. The reason, a friend and I was talking earlier this week. We talk every single morning on my way to work. Every single morning, 6 o'clock. So we were talking about the importance of having or being in a good community, where you don't really have to worry about a whole lot. Here we're taught certain things. Let it be, law of attraction. I'm going to tell you this. If my son is on the deathbed, I don't know what I can do. I don't know if I can pray. I don't know how to think, but you know what I've got? I've got you. I'm good. I'm good to go. I'm taken care of. You've got my back. And I know that I'm in a place where there is no doubt. My center has my back. So, anyway, I'm not here for that. I'm here to do a few announcements, okay, guys? Okay. Our Wednesday evening service throughout 2024 called Beyond Sunday. Please join us at 7 on Zoom. The link is available on our Wednesday newsletter or on our website. During the month of July, you are invited to join us as we explore the gifts of Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection. And Brené Brown kind of stuck up on me because I had not read these yet. Okay, this book is an invitation to join a wholehearted revolution, a small, quiet grassroots movement that starts with each of us saying, my story matters because I matter. Okay, a movement where we can live our messy, heartbreaking, grace-filled, and joyful lives out loud. A movement fueled by freedom that comes when we stop pretending everything is okay when it isn't. We've all been there. So, a call that rises up from our bellies when we feel the courage to celebrate those intensely joyful moments, even though we've convinced ourselves that savoring happiness is inviting disaster. Revolution might sound a little dramatic, but in this world, choosing authenticity and worthiness is an absolute act of resistance. Marianne Atwell Hardy, RSCP, and Heather Abbott, RSCP, will facilitate the conversation. Although reading the book is not required, I encourage you to consider checking it out. Okay. Number 2, I am so excited to announce our annual friend and fundraiser, Gourmets for God. Okay. Gourmets for God is a unique community builder and fundraiser for our center. Throughout the month of June, we will be accepting hosts and events. The events are created and hosted by TCSL people and can be simple or elaborate. Hosts can sponsor more than one event or pair it with a co-host to offer a distinctive event. Please complete a separate host registration form for each event. Then throughout July, we will facilitate a silent auction. The silent auction begins on Sunday, July 14th, and ends on Sunday, July 28th. Anyone can bid, and there is no limit to how many events you can bid for, and you do not need to be a TCSL member to participate. Events happen from August 8th through November 17th. Initially, we had a host registration date of June 30th. We are extending the date 1 week to July 7th. Remember that this is our most important annual fundraiser. Please consider hosting an event and submit your registration as soon as possible. If you have any questions, please contact Heather. Okay? Thank you so much for your attention. Have a good week, everybody. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sean. That was wonderful. All right. The theme for the year 2024 is a grand rising. Our theme for the month of June is holy boldness. And Reverend Denise's message today is living bold, a life of possibility. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. All right, and now we're going to have a moment of centering ourselves to get into that sacred space. So please turn within, open your mind and your heart, and allow the sounds of the crystal bowls to just wash over you. wherever you may have been astral traveling. And now it is time for our beautiful ritual that recognizes the many manifestations of seeking the divine. Please welcome Lonnie and BJ, who are going to assist me with our blessings of all faiths. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you, ladies. All right, so now I invite you to close your outer eyes as I say a word of blessing on today's service. And so today is really a day of homecoming. Coming home to your spiritual center, coming home to the truth that is within you, coming home to the divine, however it is that you experience it and manifest it. Because what I know is that this is the truth of all of us. We are all part of that one love intelligence of spirit that created us out of itself, supports us, sustains us, watches over us, guides us if we will only listen, and has created this unbelievable universe that is nothing but the greatness of God. So this is my truth, and this is the truth of every one of us. I am joy, I am love, I am courage, I am strength, I am wisdom, abundance, beauty. That is who and what I am. That is who and what each one of you are. That is what each and every person, bug, animal, stone, tree, star is. And so that is what I call into today's service, because when we are standing in that place, we make this a divine event. So I say a word of gratitude to all of the volunteers who support us behind the scenes. A word of gratitude to Heather and Matthew, who make this possible to not just help those of us in the room hear what's going on, but to share this truth, this knowing, this love with everyone on the planet. I say a word of blessing on our beloved Reverend Dusty, our host for today. A word of blessing on Karen Daly, who always transports us with her beautiful music. and a, a word of thanks and gratitude for our former senior minister who has come home to us this weekend, knowing that she may not live with us anymore, but she doesn't love us any the less. And knowing that she will bless us with her special brand of truth and wisdom. So I know that today is a good God day. But lastly, I say a word of gratitude for each and every one of you, because this is a divine event that's being co-created by every one of us. Whether you're in the room, whether you're watching at home, whether you're watching in the future, your energy, your special sparkle is felt in this moment. So thank you to everyone who has a part in making today so magnificent. So I know I can't wait to hear what Reverend Denise has to say. So I'm just going to turn it over to the one who knows all and knows how to make it so, and ask you to affirm this with me with our words, and so it is. Okay. Our reading for today is from Inner Engineering by Sadhguru. And he says, once one begins to transform one's energy into a higher possibility, one cannot say in how many ways and in how many forms that which is the source of existence will reach out. This has been the experience of all those beings who have allowed grace to be the most significant part of their life. In what form and in what way grace reaches out to you, you can never really say. So it is most important to keep all doors open, all windows open, keep everything open without having preconceived ideas about this cannot be that or that cannot be this, because that is the greatest impediment. Grace may come in the form of a bee. If the divine approaches you in the form of a bee, will you say, no, come as a hornet? No, do not do that to yourself. This is what devotion means, that all doors are open. You may say, how do I know that I won't do something stupid keeping all of my windows and doors open? And it's possible you may do something stupid. But keeping the doors closed is the most stupid thing that you can do. If your doors are closed, you will become unavailable to the process of grace. Without the nourishment of grace, for one trying to reach their ultimate nature, it would not be right to say impossible, but it is not probable. Nor will this bee have written on its forehead, I am a divine agent. It will not come announcing itself boldly. It will come like the gentle breeze. So, to be in a state of devotion is simply a way to receive. To be in a state of defense is simply a way to avoid. You are lost in your instinct for self-preservation. This instinct of self-preservation is a shield against everything. Devotion must be devoid of that, to simply be here with all your doors and windows open. And so it is. So beautiful, right? Well, if you're having any problems with that, all you need to do is listen to Karen's beautiful singing, and you're going to throw those doors and windows wide open. So let's welcome our...
Thank you so much, Carol. Whew. That reading just slayed me, man. Wow, I need a rest after that. That was beautiful. So I'm going to warn you all now, I don't ever play with a pick in here because it tends to make things loud, but my thumbnail has been a little bit beat up, so we might be getting a little louder than usual. Bear with me, I'm going to try not to deafen you, and Heather, you can take me where you need to take me here. Step out of the shadows, step out of the grave, break into the wild, and don't be afraid. Run into wide open spaces, graces waiting for you. Dance like the weight has been lifted, graces waiting. 'Cause where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. For the Spirit is here, let there be freedom, let there be freedom. Bring all of your burdens, bring all of your scars. Come back to communion, come back to the stars, and run into wide open spaces, graces waiting for you. Dance like the weight has been lifted, graces waiting. 'Cause where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. For the Spirit is here, let there be freedom, let there be freedom. Chains will fall, prison shake at the sound of Spirit's name. Lives made whole, hearts awake at the sound of Spirit's name. Chains will fall and prison shake at the sound of Spirit's name. Lives made whole, hearts wide awake at the sound of Spirit's name. 'Cause where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. For the Spirit is here, let there be freedom, let there be freedom. Thank you. Thank you.
A moment in time or a reason when I would ever want to quiet that voice down. In fact, I would really prefer that it could even be louder and louder and louder, so there's not one person on the planet that doesn't hear it. So let's give her another round of applause. Now, if it was just the people in this room, I probably wouldn't need to do any kind of introduction, but I do know that there are a few people who have never met Reverend Denise Schubert. But for the rest of us, we all know who she is, and we're here today because of it, right? So Reverend Denise Schubert is an ordained minister of science of mind with a master's degree obtained in 2003 from Holmes Institute under the leadership of Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith. During her 20 years of ministry, she has served many churches and centers across the country, including Agape International Spiritual Center, the Center for Conscious Living in Northwest Arkansas, the Bodhi Center for Spiritual Living in Chicago, and of course, our own Triangle Center for Spiritual Living here in Raleigh. Denise has spent the past 25 years synthesizing the spiritual principles and practices of New Thought, ancient wisdom, faith traditions, strategies for success gleaned from her 30 years as a technology executive in California, and her 50-year relationship with the principles of the Landmark Forum. Her purpose in ministry is the awakening of individuals to a more powerful and authentic life grounded in the awareness of our inherent divinity and connection to God. Reverend Denise calls herself a difference maker in the activation of human potential so that we may join each other in creating a world that works for all. I call her my friend. Please welcome Reverend Denise Schubert.
You guys pray and speak really well, like so authentic and from the heart. I want to meet that person. It's like, whoa. Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, my God, it is so amazing to be with you. It is just so heartwarming and amazing. I'm going to try to get through this without tears and if I've missed you, if I haven't hugged you yet, please don't leave until I do. So, I am a woman who lives boldly. Some would say I'm a woman who lives stupidly. But we don't listen to them because they just don't understand yet, which you will in about 30 minutes. It was said that the center has your back. Knowing that gives you freedom to move around life, knowing that no matter what life brings you, you will be supported. I feel that way, as should you feel that way, about the universe itself, right? You've all heard me say so many times that the universe is conspiring for your greater good. That there was a wonderful practitioner in California by the name of Lissa Sprinkles who used to say, you were always being prepared for something. So no matter where you are in this time of your life, no matter what's going on with you, no matter what trials and tribulations you're experiencing, no matter what you're afraid of, no matter all of that, you are something greater and grander is wanting to emerge. I'm going to actually tell you a story about myself today. I don't do that very often, but I want to because the topic today is about living boldly. And I'm not talking about being a really brave human being, right? Because from a human perspective only, boldness has a certain connotation. You know, like Reverend Destiny and I went to Africa for the first time in 2014, and I think it took a kind of human boldness to do that. But there's a different kind of boldness that you discover when you discover that there's more to you than just your circumstances, or more to you than just your past, or more to you than just what you call yourself. So we want to find that boldness because it will truly make you fearless, number one, because you're listening to a higher something than your conclusions about life based on your experience or what your friends think you should do, or your parents or your whoever. You know, are you following me? So there's a way of living and being in the world that is a possibility and not a rerun. And most of us live reruns. I would say most still. You know, there are pockets of consciousness, just like this center, where we are discovering our inner divinity or inner wholeness, whatever you want to call it. But you know, I live in a community in Florida of beautiful people, 55 plus community of mostly 78 plus community, but I would say most every day in every way for those group of beautiful people is kind of a barrage of unhappiness with the world and what it's not doing, right? And what they don't have and who's doing what to whom. And we don't want to live that way because we want to live a possibility. Yes? So I love the Sadhguru reading. I chose it. Actually, I love his work because he's talking about how the universe cares for us, how it shows up. And I want to tell my story because it's a crazy one from the viewpoint of most people. But I have learned so much, and I trust in the laws and principles. I wanted to say I trust in God, which is true. But the older I get, the more I'm in ministry, I want to stop using that word too much because it's not a meaningful word to everyone, right? So God sounds like I trust in something over there. I trust in something over here, right? Something that it's like the water to a fish. So the spiritual reality is the water, and we are the fish, that we are living and moving and having our beingness in it. And when we are open and receptive with the doors open, it already knows what to do for us. So in November 1st, 2021, I had my left hip replaced. And that was a joyous thing, really, because for all of those who knew me, I've been hobbling for about 15 years. On November 3rd, 2021, I had a stroke. So I had gone home. My two sisters were there, and I was not a very happy camper because they weren't a very happy camper. You know, it's like they were not born. You know what I found out about my family? We're not caretakers. I mean, truly, and they're younger sisters, so they're like, what do you want me to do? It's like, you could help me lift my leg onto the bed. Right. How do I do that? Just, anyway, don't get me on a tangent about my sisters. Oh, and I hope you're not watching. Hello, everyone out there. It's a bad thing about writing a book. When you get to the chapter about your sisters, what can you write? You can't tell the truth, really. I don't know. Maybe it just goes to my grave with all the mayhem they created. At any rate, my sisters were there. It was about 36 hours after my hip, and I'm on my phone, and all of a sudden, my phone goes crazy. Like, all the characters are, it's like, wow, you guys, something's wrong with my phone, right? So I go over, grab my walker over to my computer, and the same thing's wrong with my computer. All of a sudden, we realize something's wrong with me. But we didn't know what it was, and we weren't too concerned. You know, I was on pretty heavy medication, so we went to bed. Got up the next morning, was kind of the same but worse. And eventually, we called my primary care doctor, who said, you need to get your sister to an emergency room. We don't know what's going on, but you need to get her there, right? So I'm in the emergency room. Now, so I'm 73 years old. That was 2 years ago. So at 70, that was my first hospitalization in my life, right? The knee replacement was my first real experience, certainly first challenge. But the hip, was by choice. But the stroke, I was quite scared and vulnerable. So within not too long a period of time, they came and took a picture of my brain while a young woman expired next to me from being T-boned on the freeway. So it was just so not a good moment. This guy comes in and he goes, you've had a stroke. Now, I was a chaplain, an emergency room chaplain at WakeMed, the WakeMed Hospital in Raleigh, trauma hospital, for 6 months. I have to say that I left that experience afraid of nothing except strokes, because they're awful, right? Because you can't predict them, you can't stop them, you don't know they're happening. So when he said that to me, it was like, shit. That's how I felt. I felt like I began to move into a space of, will I ever be the same? Will life ever be the same? And by the way, here's what the stroke affected only my vision. So when I looked at you, when I looked at people, their left side was really, really skinny, and their right side was really, really fat. So they looked like monsters, right? So I was scary. I was just like, oh my God, like, oh my God, who are you? What are all these people? So I could truly go on forever. I've never really told this story out loud. So, so I was in ICU for 5 days, during which they tested everything, right? They did everything they were going to do. My sisters did show up, unfortunately. And I kind of knew one of my sisters was talking to the social worker about having me go to rehab, to which I'm saying, I'm talking to the social worker, I'm not going to rehab. I'm going to go home. No, I'm going home. No, no, no. So that experience was horrible because now I'm really kind of focusing on it right now because I currently, I'm going to backtrack for a second. Our dots are always connected in life. So I'm sharing this, what for me was probably the most out of control experience I've had since ministry, right? That it's like trying to find my balance in the middle of a health crisis. Has anybody been there? Trying to find balance in the middle of a health crisis, or any crisis really. So in the hospital, I was in a room with 3 people, which seriously, it was so not me. And I was sweaty, right? So I was hot, I was smelly, didn't know what was happening. People looked like monsters, and it was like, really? I was in Africa 30 days earlier dancing. It was like, really? This is where I am. All right, so anyway, so I'm in the hospital. They decide to transfer me to another hospital to do an angiogram to see if they could see why I had a stroke, right? So, but I have to tell you, that was my first God moment, because they took me from a Best Western to a Ritz-Carlton. You should have laughed more at that. Do you get what I'm saying? They took me from like the worst hospital to a private room where people were, would you like some coffee? Are you hungry? We know it's not dinner time, but do you want it? Anyway. So I'm going to get this part really wrapped. So they did the angiogram. You know, I was waiting to go in, and the doctor comes and talks to me, and I asked him, I said, so I'm trying to get my mojo back because I was in my own room, right? So I was beginning to feel connected to my good again, like hopeful, like possibility. And in the new hospital, in the Ritz-Carlton room, there was a nurse who came in one day before my angiogram, and I was playing really loud music, like Celine Dion, full blast, the tenors, full blast, you know, Bocelli. It's like, because I wanted, and it was making me sob, because I was gratitude, you know, it's like, if this is the end of my life, Lord, thank you. If this is, you know, it's like I had to prepare for the event. And this nurse comes in, and she looks at me, she goes, what are you crying about? I said, I'm just scared. She goes, oh, honey, you're on God's time now. From now on, you're on God's time. She goes, don't you worry. Just put on your lipstick. You're going to be fine. Right? You're going to go home. You're going to dance down the street. This woman preached to me. You know, it's like the bee, Sadhguru, the bee. You don't know the form that your good will come. So I go to the hospital. The doctor comes in, and I asked him, I said, so what's your A game with me today? What's your A game? What do you want? And he goes, I don't know, anybody's ever asked me that. I said, well, tell me, I want to be on your side. And he said, we're going to go in there and look. We're not going to find anything. We're going to give you a statin, and we're going to send you home. I said, great. I'll do that, right? So that is what happened. Now, by the way, neither of my sisters were there for the angiogram. And one of them brought me chicken soup after the angiogram when I was back in my room, but something I said upset her, so she threw it and left. I'm just saying. They're not caretakers. Anyway, so that is what happened. They took me home. Unfortunately, the sisters stayed for 3 weeks through Thanksgiving. all I did was sit in quiet, peaceful prayer and meditation that they would leave as quickly as possible without torturing me anymore. So another example is my sister and I were playing mahjong, right? So I'm teaching her how to play mahjong. Mind you, I'm in a walker. I just have my hip replaced and I have a stroke and can't see. Are you with me where I am? She accuses me of cheating, throws the tiles, and storms out of the house again. I went to bed. I spent a lot of time in bed, in my room, the door closed. I haven't even gotten to the good part yet. So they left on Thanksgiving, and I was very grateful. In fact, I couldn't even say the word grateful without crying because I was so grateful I was home and not in a facility somewhere. I was so grateful that I could think. I was so grateful that I could see. I could still play mahjong. I wasn't driving yet. I wasn't sure if I could ever work again or drive again. I didn't know that yet. But they left, and little by little I healed, right? Got off the walker, got onto a cane. My vision is still not perfect, but I could function. The one good thing about having a stroke that affects your vision when you're 70 is memory takes over. So you know where the things are in your house, you know you know things, so you don't have to relearn them. So it was actually not nearly as difficult to function as I thought it might be. Then I went to see a neuro-ophthalmologist who gave me permission to drive. One more, oh my God, thank you, right? So the good part of the story happens about now where I'm trying to figure out what to do because I live alone. So I live alone, happily live alone, but I live alone, and I now have a family I can't really lean into too much. And I was trying to figure out what to do. Like, what do I do? And that's when my spiritual practice started kicking in. It's like, well, what do you want to do? Well, I shouldn't do that because I just had a stroke. What if I had another stroke? What if I do that and I can't do that, right? So what I wanted to do, well, one day I was out walking around the block with my walker, and my gardener was talking. They were golf carts, and he was telling somebody how the prices of our homes had gone up. Now, I live in a manufactured home community in a place called the Del Toro Golf and Country Club, and I paid $55,000 for my 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. So I'm listening to this, and he says, well, I said, well, what do you think I could sell it for now? And he goes, I don't know, probably about 170. This was 2 years after I bought it. It's like, in my mind, I said, I'm going to sell this house. So what I did, this is what I did. I sold everything. I sold my house, everything in it. I sold my car to Dave and Sue, who were moving into my complex. I packed 6 suitcases and went to South Africa for 6 months. So I went to South Africa. You just have to get this, how brave this is. But it's not. It's going to sound brave to ears listening. But the question was, well, if you're going to die, what do you want to do? Like, what's your good death? What's your best move here? Because I didn't want to just wait to die in my house by myself. That would be foolish for me, right? Chris Michaels, he's a minister. He was a minister that he retired. A Unity minister in Fort Lauderdale, and he said in one of his talks, he says, our spirits are ultimate adventurers. Status quo, boredom, fear, playing small, these are not qualities of the spirit. The spirit is huge, flamboyant, and excited. When we stop the spirit from living fully, the spirit will begin to decay the body in small and big ways so that it can be free. So Africa for me was big, bold, and perfect. I had people over there who loved me. I didn't have to drive. I could rest in nature, be surrounded by, I love all the acknowledgement of my being and all of these beautiful pictures. So that's what happened. I had a friend at the church in Naples who I wasn't sure I was going to navigate international airports, so he took me. He literally took me. and he was my arms and my eyes, and carried helped me with my 6 suitcases, right? So he deposits me in South Africa, spends 10 days, we go on a safari, and he goes home. So Africa, so that's what happened. I spent 6 months there. I lived there, I walked, I regained my strength, I regained the majority of my vision, and then I knew then it was time to come home. Mostly because my visa expired. But, so are you with me? No house, no car, no furniture, no towels, no dishes. Nothing. 6 suitcases. So I called the people who bought my car, and I said, I knew they were snowbirds, so I said, can I live in your house? Can I rent your house from you for a few months while I figure out what I'm going to do? They said, sure, don't even have to rent it, you can just have it. It's like, now, mind you, my car's in their garage. They bought my car. So I get to their house, I move into this house, 6 days before Ian, Category 5 hurricane, 6 days before the Category 5 hurricane descended upon us in Fort Myers. Anyway, it's kind of another story, but I got into the car to drive up to the grocery store, and my phone was synced with the car still. So my phone was synced with the car. So I called them, and I said, Dave and Sue, can I buy my car back from you? Do you know what they said? Yes. They said yes, for what I paid for it. So 10 days later, I had my car back, which, by the way, is no small thing because Jeep put a brand new engine in it right before my hip replacement. So it was like getting a brand new car. Another B, the universe is conspiring for your good. Do you understand that I could not predict? What I'm telling you is there's something about walking in devotion, walking in trust, walking in fearlessness, and it's not foolish, and I'm not special. It's just how it works, right? It's just how it works. It gets better. So the hurricane, there's a very saucy old man who lived next door who had the hots, right? He said, oh, this young chick moved in next door. So the hurricane came. Well, I am young compared to him. And he wouldn't say chick, he would say broad. Some young broad moved in. Anyway, so he comes, he comes over. I said, what? He goes, come on, we're leaving. We're gonna, and by the way, he has like a 1959 Volkswagen van that I'm sure 18 people have been killed in. And he goes, well, come on, we're gonna go to Miami to get away from the hurricane. It's like, I'm not going to Miami with you. I don't even know you. So I didn't. So I stayed. I stayed in the house. I put on a yoga nidra headphones, listened to yoga nidra, woke up the next morning. It was gone. The house was still there. Everything was still there. And Warren was still there. He didn't go. A B, another B, because Warren went out and bought a generator so for the next 12 days we could all have coffee, right, and charge our phones. So a little neighborhood got created there, right, because we needed each other. We had no phones, no water, no electricity for 2 weeks. I think I like the hospital better, but no, think about it. When's the last time, how have any of us lived where at 6 o'clock the sun goes down and you can't do one thing? No TV, no phone, no internet, no reading for 2 weeks. Try it, you'll get cranky. So, talking too long, so I have to move forward. It's okay. So we stayed through, we made it through hurricane. It's, as you all know, it was just a mess down there, and that was fine. In the middle of all that, I decided to, the people across the street had a little dog, a Mr. Puff, and asked me if I would come watch the dog for 3 weeks while they went on a cruise, to which I said I would. So I moved into their house, watched their dog for 3 weeks, and then I went back to Africa for a month. But they said, when you come back from Africa, just stay, you can just rent our house until you know what to do, right? So then when I came back, I had another home, more beautiful than the first home, where I could spend time figuring out what to do. And then I got hired by the Unity of Naples Church, so I decided to move to Naples. So I moved to Naples, worked the church, found a cute little apartment. But just this year, in January, so we're just talking, we're not very much time has passed here, right? I was going to Africa again for 2 months, and I was up visiting Warren and the neighborhood, my old neighborhood, and the people who had Mr. Puff in the house across the street, I was told they were selling their house, a quick sale, because they had bought 2 houses. So Warren said, do you want to buy their house? I said, oh, there's just no way I can afford their house. There's just no way I can afford their house. Prices still had continued to go up. And the house is probably $250,000 right now. Like, that's its market value if you were to go in and buy the house. And they said, well, what can you afford? I said, I don't know. I said, maybe, I don't know, 110? They said, okay. That's what they said, okay. But I didn't really have the 110 either, so I had $75,000. That's what I had, cash, right? So I called my sister. I gave her a chance at redemption. And I said, so Laura, I have this amazing opportunity, like too good to be true opportunity to purchase this house that has a market value of $250 for $110. And this is how much I have. Will you consider not loaning, because I'm retired, so you can't loan it to me because I can't pay you back. Will you give me the difference? And for that, I will put your name on the deed, on the title of the house, and when I die, you can have the house, or whatever. She goes, well, I'm just going to give you half, and we don't need to do all that. It's like a B. It's like, okay. And that's what happened. So she gave me the money I needed to buy the house. I bought the house, went to Africa, came back, and just moved in. So I'm now ensconced once again in a house with a couch and dishes and I just had to buy a new washer and dryer, but that's far too mundane. So what's the spiritual lesson here? I'm going to spell it out just because some of you need me to. But there's something about, I want to tell you that life is conspiring for your greater good. That where there seems to be no way, there is a way. But you can't block it, right? It's like, because most of us live in such a way that we say, no, that's too good to be true. What's the catch? Because within really a year, within a year, I had a stroke, got better, lived in Africa, got my car back. Somebody literally really gave me a house, and I'm here with you today. So I didn't die. Right? I didn't die. And I didn't become disabled. Could I have? Sure. Sure. What would have caused me to land on the side of disabled versus living a possible life of boldness? What would be the difference? What you think. Now I'm telling you, it would have been very easy. It would have been very, very easy. There were moments where I felt life was over. The life as I knew it was over. My life, like who I was. Like, I would never go to Africa again. I would never, blah, blah, blah. I would never dance. I'm a photographer. I'd never be able to take pictures again. Turns out my camera does a better job than my eyes. So if I can point that camera in the right position and go click, the camera doesn't know I can't see properly, right? So, Steve Jobs said, expect the dots to connect. Lissa Sprinkles said, you're always being prepared for something. I say the universe is always conspiring for your greater good, that when you release your resistance, and sometimes it's self-worth, sometimes it's too good to be true, sometimes you have other people, I'm pretty sure my sisters thought I was insane. Like, you're going to Africa, I'm out, right? Because it was too far away, risky, you're getting on an airplane, you're too far away. By the way, South Africa doesn't, the closest hospital is 2.5 hours. So there's no emergency care. It's like, life is an emergency if you have an emergency. Anyway. So 3 points really is shift your way of living into positive expectation versus negative expectation. Can you feel the difference? That you expect something good to happen in whatever your situation is. And if you can't get that far, at least be willing to expect something good. Because something good can happen. We awfulize the future so much, and we lose sight of the fact that your mind, that we live in a field of connection. The whole earth it's like we're connected. So whatever it is you need or want, whoever you're going to get that from already knows that. If you need a house, somebody knows that. If you need a car, somebody knows that. If you need a job, if you need a partner. But if you're not willing to have it come to you or to see it, it can't come. So you just say, bring it on. Bring on the good. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been manifesting a possible wonderful life for a long time. And this past 24 months kind of put me to the test, right? It put me to the test. It's like, so can you thrive after diversity? Can you survive? A lot of people would just give up. They would get safe. I was in my house, I knew where everything was, whether I could see or not was almost irrelevant, and I could have stayed there forever and been fine. Would I have been happy? Would my spirit have been fulfilled? No. So boldness is to, one, listen to your intuition, because what do you want? I would ask a question. If you had 1 year to live, 1 year, and you knew, what would you do different than you're doing today? Where are you not expressing? Where are you not going? Who are you not loving? Because you think you have time, and you have no time, right? Sadhguru has been kind of my teacher the last little bit. He wrote a book called The Book on Death for Everyone, because everyone's going to die, right? So there isn't anybody who's not going to die. So remember also that every person you meet could be the bee, could be the source of your good, be the source of your money, the source of your job. So when you're walking around being cranky or rude or disrespectful, see who that person is, because they could be that angel. So my current mission in life really is to encourage everyone, regardless where you are, no matter how old you are, no matter whether you're dealing with a physical issue now, you could have a diagnosis now, whether you're on the brink of a new life, right? With weddings or babies or grandchildren. Doesn't really matter, but that the Spirit itself is eternal, and it's designed in such a way to co-create and cooperate with a universe that is on the side of good. Einstein said that the most important question any human being will ever ask and answer is the universe friendly or not? Because of the way that mind works, the spiritual laws and principles work, if the universe is not friendly, then you will protect yourself. And if the universe is friendly, you will live freely. So my prayer for you is to live freely always. Trust it, because it's real. So I say let's pray a little bit about that. You know, we don't, in our centers and in our faith tradition, we don't pray to a reluctant deity. We're not asking the universe to give us something we don't already have. We pray literally to get into a positive expectation. We pray to open the doors and the hearts and the windows of our hearts. And so join with me as we turn within for a moment. Just as Carol invited us, I invite you again to close the outer eyes, letting all of the circumstances of your life melt into nothing, recognizing that they are, as I like to say, crude and temporary representations of current consciousness. And when current consciousness changes, so will the circumstances. And so as we close the outer eyes, we open our inner eyes and we gaze into that place within us that is whole, perfect, and complete, that is cared for, carried, cradled by some ineffable, amazing process. I think the word God describes a process and a personality that is who and what we are. We live and move and have our being in it, and more importantly, it lives and moves and has its being in and as our very individual lives. And so we're connected through that life, that you and I are brothers and sisters of the Spirit, that love is the truth between our souls, and that we live in a world activated by thought, and we are the ones doing the thinking. So I'm going to think into this substance, into this process right now, for and about myself and each and every one of us here to claim, proclaim, and accept our courage and our bravery and our willingness and our trust and our surrender to letting life be good, letting life be happy, to expecting miracles where there seems to be no miracles. To know that wherever you are, there is a tomorrow, and that tomorrow will be possible or impossible, depending on how you think it. And so I invite you into not blind faith, but scientific expectation of the moving of molecules to support you and carry you into whatever it is that you are emerging to be. The bottom line is that life is designed to be good. And so I just invite us all to let it be that way now. And so with open hearts and open minds, we move into our future today, letting something here touch us and change us and grow us and comfort us, because it's all there for that. So stress, worry, doubt, and fear drop. All is well with our soul, and we let it be, and we let it be together by saying, and so it is. Amen. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Denise. It was beautiful. It's now time for our conscious giving. And this is the time every week when we offer financial assistance to this community so that we can continue to be a beacon of light and love and warmth in the Greater Triangle area. Together we affirm that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are 3 different ways that you can give. They're here on the screen. Visit our website at trianglecsl.org. You can text the word GIVE to the following number, 919-629-9148. Or you can mail your gift to our office, PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. So I now invite everyone to take your gift and please place it against your heart with an affirmation for yourself or for someone else or for our community, and repeat in a call and response our offering affirmation. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. Now, please join me as we welcome the amazing Karen Daly back to her guitar.
Deep. Whew. All right. I'm all worked up now. This is a song by Natalie Merchant that I think she wrote about us all if we would just lean into our own wonderment. It's called Wonder. Doctors have come from distant cities just to see me stand over my bed, disbelieving what they're seeing. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. People, they ask intimate questions on confessions. They reach into my head to steal the glory of my story. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. Destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. No, this child will be able, and laughed as my body she lifted. No, this child will be gifted with love, with patience, and with faith. She'll make her way. People see me, I'm a challenge to your balance. I'm over your heads, how I confound you and astound you. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. She came to your cradle. No, this child will be able, and laughed as your body she lifted. No, this child will be gifted with love, with patience, and with faith. She'll make her way. She'll make her way. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my, Karen, you said it best. You astound me. Thank you for sharing yourselves with us so generously. Okay, as Sean said, we're here to have your back. So one of the best ways to do that is to fill out your prayer request so that your divine prayer team can be saying it with you. So there is a spot on our website, trianglecsl.org. So you fill out the form, you gets to all of us, and you got your dream prayer team on your side. Also, we have this great opportunity for you to express your love or appreciation, whatever you want, through beautiful flowers like this. So if you have somebody that you want to acknowledge or send a pickup or just let the world know about, then contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. And flowers like this could be to your beloved. Okay, so this is our last time at our boldness affirmation, so you want to give it all you got. So get up. Whether you're here, whether you're there, get up and say it with meaning because it is the feeling, not the words. Okay. Oh, it's a call and response. I'll go first. You repeat. Life invites me to live with gusto and verb. I choose to live large, and my experience is a reflection of that choice.
I choose to live large, and my experience is a reflection of that choice.
As I work in partnership with Spirit, all things are truly possible.
As I work in partnership with Spirit, all things are truly possible.
This sacred audacity fuels me to reach, stretch, and thrive. I am unrestrained, liberated, lifted, and ready to take on anything with faith.
I am unrestrained, liberated, lifted, and ready to take on anything with faith.
I am fired up and ready to live fully.
I am fired up and ready to live fully.
I am unstoppable in God.
I am unstoppable in God.
And so it is. All right, you can be seated. You can close your outer eyes again when I just have our benediction. And really, all I have to say is my benediction is yes. Yes to those affirmations. Yes to the wisdom that Denise has shared with us. Yes to the lives that we want to live. And yes to making this a planet that works for all. So I know we are all going forth today with that divine yes, and our lives will be changed, and our communities will be changed, and our planet will be changed when we live in that divine yes. So I'm just so grateful for everybody who made today the magnificent thing it has been. So grateful for these teachings, so grateful for these principles. And so I just turn it over to the law that always says, yes, and so it is.
Just a couple quick things. Number one, if you're on the fence about hosting a Gourmets for God, get off the fence. You have 1 week. 1 week to figure out what you're going to do and to let us know what that is. If you are interested, don't forget the QR code is out on the table out there so that you can get tickets for the Bob Simon and Shannon Plummer concert. And if you are interested in going to lunch with Reverend Denise, please stay here for a moment and we'll let everybody know where we're going. That's it. Have a great week. I love you all.